Oxygen dropped just 10%. No explosions, no warning. At first, nothing happened. Then people started making mistakes. Small ones, then deadly ones. Imagine a change so quiet, it hides in plain air. A fundamental shift in the very fabric of our world, occurring not with a bang, but with the silent subtraction of a single vital element across the entire planet. In a single, coordinated moment, oxygen drops by 10%. The atmosphere we have known for millennia, a stable mix of roughly 21% oxygen, is now just under 19%. There is no blast, no warning, just a different morning. The sun rises on a world that looks identical to the one that set the night before. The air feels the same, the sky holds the same blue. People wake, brew coffee, check their phones, completely unaware that the invisible fuel for their bodies has been diluted. The first signs are not external, but deeply internal, happening with every breath. Inside the intricate architecture of the lungs, in the millions of tiny air sacs called alveoli, the change makes its first contact. With each inhalation, less oxygen is available to pass through the thin membranes into the bloodstream. Less oxygen loads onto the hemoglobin molecules in our red blood cells. As a direct result, blood oxygen saturation dips. For a healthy person at sea level, a reading of 98% might fall to 94%. Not immediately deadly, but no longer optimal. It's a subtle shift into a state of mild, persistent hypoxia. The body's ancient autonomous systems begin to compensate. Breathing deepens and quickens. A subconscious correction to draw in more air, attempting to bridge the new oxygen deficit. The heart rate may increase slightly, working harder to circulate the less oxygenated blood, but the brain notices first. As our most oxygen-hungry organ, consuming 20% of the body's total oxygen intake despite being only 2% of its weight, it is exquisitely sensitive to any shortfall. Mild hypoxia spreads through the neural pathways, a gentle, pervasive fog over thought. This isn't a dramatic failure, but a degradation of peak performance. The crispness of cognition begins to soften at the edges. Neurons fire less efficiently. The complex electrochemical signals that form our thoughts, memories, and decisions slow down. The speed of processing is compromised, measured in imperceptible but cumulative milliseconds. In offices and homes around the world, the consequences manifest in small, frustrating ways. Focus slips. Complex tasks that require sustained concentration now seem to stretch on indefinitely. Words are reread, sentences passed multiple times for meaning. The brain is working harder to achieve the same result. For those already living at altitude, the effects magnify significantly. The new atmospheric baseline is equivalent to ascending several thousand feet overnight, without any time for acclimatization. Denver, the mile-high city, now feels as thin as the air at 8,000 feet. La Paz, Bolivia, already one of the highest capital cities, becomes a serious challenge for its residents. The air feels thinner. La Paz, thinner still. Tourists and newcomers to these cities struggle profoundly, experiencing acute mountain sickness. But even the locals, whose bodies are adapted to lower oxygen levels, find their endurance compromised. They tire sooner than yesterday. A simple walk up a familiar hill now leaving them breathless. Across the global population, fractions of a second now matter. Cognitive and motor reaction times dragged by critical milliseconds. A delay that is undetectable in isolation becomes statistically significant when multiplied by billions of people performing trillions of actions. On the roads, this manifests as a small but measurable increase in accidents. A driver's foot moves to the brake just a fraction of a second too late. A misjudgment of speed or distance becomes more common. Minor crashes tick upward. Hospitals and clinics begin to see a surge in patients. The symptoms are vague and unsettling. Persistent dizziness, unshakable fatigue, headaches that don't respond to medication, and a constant low-level feeling of breathlessness. Doctors are perplexed. Standard blood tests, EKGs, and physical exams look normal. The patients appear healthy, yet they describe a profound sense of unease. Anxiety diagnoses rise, but the underlying physical cause just doesn't show up on the charts. In high-stakes professions, the margin for error, already thin, shrinks further. In airline cockpits, pilots experience subtle cognitive lapses. Delayed checklist call-outs appear. A routine sequence of checks takes just a few seconds longer, a small deviation in a system built on precision. In air traffic control towers, controllers find themselves asking for pilots to repeat transmissions more often. The mental work of juggling dozens of aircraft in a three-dimensional space becomes more taxing. Air traffic control repeats more commands. The data on aviation safety begins to show a trend. Near misses and minor ground incidents edge higher. The fault isn't in the sophisticated, automated systems. It's in the human element, now operating at a slight but critical deficit. The chemistry of our world shifts too. Combustion, the rapid reaction between a substance and an oxidant, is fundamentally altered. With less oxygen to fuel the reaction, fire burns cooler and slower. This has profound implications for our machines. Internal combustion engines, which power the vast majority of our transportation, lose their punch. The carefully calibrated air-fuel mixture is now too rich. Engines produce less power, and to compensate, fuel consumption climbs. The effect scales up to our infrastructure. At power plants, massive gas turbines designed to operate within specific atmospheric parameters become less efficient. Engineers attempt to retune them, but outputs sag. The grid becomes more fragile. A quiet inefficiency settles over the global economy. Nothing stops, but everything underperforms. The entire system, from individual human cognition to the largest industrial processes, is now operating with a handbrake lightly applied. On factory assembly lines, the precise timing of robotic and human actions begins to drift, leading to more errors and a decline in quality control. Coordination thins, supply chains, already complex, experience new, unexplainable delays. Newsrooms and data analysts begin to report a strange global pattern. A small rise in workplace accidents, a dip in manufacturing productivity, an increase in minor traffic incidents. They are all symptoms of the same invisible cause. Small errors everywhere. Finally, atmospheric scientists connect the dots. Global monitoring stations from Mauna Loa to the South Pole provide the irrefutable data. The change is real. Global oxygen now sits at approximately 18.9%. The announcement brings confirmation, without panic, but with profound consequence. The world now has a unified diagnosis for its collective malaise. The problem is named, measured, and understood. And with understanding, adaptation begins. The focus shifts from confusion to engineering, from anxiety to mitigation. Humanity begins the process of adjusting to its new reality. The first and most immediate response is to protect those in critical roles. Supplemental oxygen becomes standard procedure for pilots, surgeons, heavy machine operators, and anyone whose peak cognitive and motor function is essential for safety. Performance immediately returns to the previous baseline. With the simple addition of a thin plastic tube, it is a clear demonstration of the problem and its solution. On a larger scale, engineers recalibrate the machines of our civilization. Engines are redesigned with new air intakes and fuel mapping. Turbines are retrofitted, industrial procedures are rewritten. Checklists are strengthened, and safety buffers grow to account for the diminished human factor. Long-term solutions begin to scale up. Massive global reforestation projects are initiated, a slow but vital effort to bolster the planet's primary oxygen source. And in a new industrial revolution, vast oxygen generation plants are constructed near major cities, enriching the local atmosphere in a brute force correction. The world doesn't end, it just gets harder. Our civilization, our bodies, our very thoughts run on margins, and oxygen sets those margins. A 10% drop is not enough to stop us, but it is enough to make us fail if we do not adapt.
I'll be back.